Okay.
Because the short way using the forward.
No, it's not the short way. Like it is shorter way, but there is another reason. All right. Let's say the test input is 4. What's the size of this array? 4, right? So how many times we should assign a number? 4 times. Okay. It should be this way, 4 times. All right. And there could be at the same time another test input with number 10. If the test input, if the n is 10, how many elements will be there in the array? 10. Then you need 10 of these lines. All right. But as long as this number might change, can we do this manually this way? Do we need to do it manually?
No.
Yeah. Why do we need to use for loop?
Size way.
Just all
Every numbers.
So for loop will do this for us. If it needs to do it 5 times, it will do it 5 times. If it needs to assign 10 times, then it assigns 10 times. That's why we use the for loop. Without the for loop, our code will be static. And then for some of these test inputs, it's wrong. There is an error because here we have 4 elements. Here we have 5th element that doesn't exist. All right. For loop. What should be in the conditions, Yadej? Yeah, array.length. Okay. All right, what's next? For what? Do you need to store these results? So here, at this point, if we don't have a for loop, if the n is 10, how many elements are there in the array? 10. And what are these elements at this point? 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. We never assigned a value yet. What if the n is 4? The length is 4 for this array. What are the numbers inside this array at this point? 0, 4 zeros. 4 zeros. So we need to assign to each element some value, right? To each. For example, this is an element at index 0. How do we call it, guys? How do we call them, these numbers? Elements. What's the index for element 6? Are you
5.
sure? It's 6, guys.
No, it's 5. No.
Yeah,
Is-
6. 6
With,
starts with
that's why.
0.
For element 0, the index is 0. For element 8, the index is 8. So we need to assign to each element their own index. Okay. So what if I do this? Array. What does this I mean? Yeah, it means indexes for this array elements. It will access each element from index 0 till the last index. What if I do this? Let's see. Now all of the elements are 5s. What if we do here 1? No, it's wrong, guys. All right, let's put here n. Now it's this way. What should we put here, Clara J? What should be assigned here? If I do here 15, look, it assigns 15 to each element. For example, instead of 15, which number should be here instead of 15?
1.
1 should, instead of 15 here, which number should be? 0. All right, let's make it 0. All of them are zeros.
If we want it, just change it. Just delete array length for n.
This one?
Yes, delete it.
Okay.
Just delete n.
Yeah, it's still the same thing. If we assign here instead of 0 I,
Yes, I wanted to say.
how will it be processing these numbers?
Array of,
Yeah.
sorry. Array of 0 will be 0. Array of y will be 1. Array of
Yes,
2 will be 2.
exactly. So array I, which is 0, to this element we assign 0. Array 1, we assign 1. All right, let's run it. And then, very good. All of them are passed. So this is the solution.
I have a
Is
question.
array. Yeah, go ahead.
When we make this I less than array dot length, can we write instead of array n? It will be the same, right?
It will be the same because n specifies the number of elements in the array. So they both hold the same value. If n is 5, then
Mhm.
array length is also 5.
Okay.
Okay. This array. Okay, let me choose sum 1, 3. The one that was not solved.
You will not copy the right.
No, you can do it on your own because now you have idea. It's better if you do it now yourself. All right, sum 1, 3. Here we have another task. All right. Can you please describe, guys, any of you, the method we have here?
Return method.
It's a returning type method that returns a number and accepts array of elements. Yeah, it accepts array of numbers. So we have an array of numbers 1, 2, 2, 1. Their sum is 6. 1, 1. Their sum is 2. All right, but there is an exception. When you see number 13, we shouldn't add it to the sum. Return the sum of numbers in the array. Returning 0 for an empty array. Okay, for this one, never mind. Except the number 13 is very unlucky. Do you? Maybe, yeah. I think so, yeah. Yes. Yeah, and we have also done this before. Do you remember it? Unlucky number. So it doesn't count numbers that come immediately after a 13. So it doesn't count numbers that come immediately after 13. All right. 1, 2. All right. That's an interesting, guys. 1, 2, 13, 2. What's the sum for this? For this one? 4.
This 3? No?
1 plus 2 is 3. 3 plus 1 is 4. So we never ever count 13 and the number right after 13. It shouldn't be stopped. next two numbers should be skipped, not stopped. All right, the sum here is
But can you do it? There are numbers that come immediately after 13 also don't count. So
So it means 13, we don't count, and then we don't count the number that comes right after 13. So this count,
what we count?
yeah.
It's
So 13 we don't count, 1 we don't count, 2 we count, and 1 we count. So we get 3. All right. And here it is 0 because we don't count this one. All right. Here it's 5 because we don't count 13 and 2. All right. This one is, let me do this. I'll create here a method, not a method, a class. Let's create a class called sum13. Create a class called sum13. I'm sure that before you solve this, there will be a lot of failed test cases right here before you make it perfect. The class name is sum13.
What's the date?
Day 40. Day is 40. Okay, next, do we need to create a main method, guys? If we would like to solve it ourselves in the IntelliJ IDEA, not here. Yeah, because we don't have here invisible automatically created main method, right? We created ourselves. But here there is automatically created main method and there are test inputs. Do we need to create this test input ourselves? No? No or yes?
Yes.
But we can also create like
We will create them. All right. Do we need to create this method? Yeah, of course, guys.
Yes.
We need to
yes.
create this method if we would like to solve it in the IntelliJ IDEA. All right. And let's make this method, guys, static, public static. Okay. Next, I would like to call this method. In order to call this method successfully, we miss here something. What do we miss?
Array.
We miss an array. We miss the parameter here. So we don't have an array yet. So what does it mean? It means, guys, that we need to create an array ourselves. We can create this array. Do we need to make these two arrays with the same name, this one and this one?
No, not necessary.
No. No, it's not necessary. All right, let's add here numbers. 1, 2, 13, 2, 1. If we have this test input, what will be the sum? 4. 1, 2, this 2 we don't count, and 1. Okay. All right, next we pass this array, and then can I assign the returned value from this method to some variable?
result or some.
Yeah. Can we do it? After some time, guys, let's practice this. I ask you every time, please describe me this, please do this, but after some time, it should be something that you did unconsciously without thinking, because we can make this, because this is a returning type method. Can we put it inside the system out print line, Clara? Yeah.
Yes.
Let's put it within the system out print line. All right. If I run this, method. As a result, it should return us for this input, it should return us. Okay, let me take another one. This one. Okay, for this test input, it should return us
Four.
what's the number that it should return?
4.
George Bekbeke, do you think it's 4? Clara Ece. Zero? Why it's 0? Yeah. Yeah, it returns us 0, but it should return. No. It should return the sum, right? Like ideally, it should return the sum. What's the sum for this elements if we follow the instructions from the task? It's 4. 1, 2. It's 3, and then we don't count this 2. Plus this 1, it's 4. When you run it, it returns 0. 100%, guys. If I would be in your place, I won't be able to solve this one from the very first try. Believe me, I won't be able to. And I won't be able to solve it even right now. Maybe. It will maybe take me 2 or 3 attempts to solve it. So what should we do? What's the main thing for this task? The main task is to find the sum. If we need to find the sum, what should we do?
Some mathematical.
Let's say you have 10 numbers. We have our own memory here in brain. We can just sum them up easily. But in Java, there is no brain. We should create this containers to those sums. So we need to create int sum. Okay, next, we have 10 numbers. What do we need to do if we have 10 numbers or 15 numbers or only 3? For loop should be created. For us, it's easy. We can just look at them and find their sum. But for computer, we need to create a special container and then create a special statement that will check these numbers. All right. So nums.length. All right. What's next step? Let's do this. If we guys add this all numbers, what's the sum? All of them, yeah.
32.
32. Let's make this program returning number 32, the sum of all numbers. How can we make it?
So it will be sum plus equal to nums array, like array of nums.
Nums I. What will happen? Claudia, let's read it together. How many elements are there? 6 elements. How many times will this for loop run? 6 times. All right. Let's do this. Let's return the sum. What's the sum returned after this method is called? 32? 32 or 30? How many times does this for loop run? 6 times. If we add to the sum 5 every time, which is 6 times, then we get
30.
30. If I do this, what do you think? What's the sum?
36.
It's 36 because for loop runs 6 times. We add to the container 6 times number 6. 10, we add to the container 10 times number 6. But it's not the sum. The sum is found using these elements, accessing these elements. So how do we access them? Array, yeah, which is nums, yeah, here. Nums I. So in this case, what will be the returned value? The value that we get after this method is called. In this case, it's 32. In this case, it's 32. All right. Now it's very important. We need to run this statement only when it's not 13 and when it's not the number right after the 13. For me, it's also, guys, challenging. Let me think. Like maybe 30 seconds. You have also time. Do not rush. We will be using, yeah, but let's take some time to think. How can we implement it? All right. So do we need to add this number to the sum? Yes. All right. Do you understand how the for loop works? How many times will it run? 6 times. In the first iteration, we add to the sum which number? 1. And then in the next iteration, we add 2. And then should we add the next element? No, it shouldn't be added. So if this number shouldn't be added, what should we do?
Num is equal to 13.
All right,
Break.
not break.
Uh,
If it's 13, do we need to stop counting other elements? No,
No.
1 should be included in the sum. So let's do this. If it's something, then make this. All right, so how can we do it?
if number equal to 13,
If number. So what do we need to write here to check if some element is,
Nums I
if nums I
is not equal to.
equal to 13,
it should be false.
do we need to add it to the sum? All right,
No.
let's do this. If I run this program, what will be in the output?
It will sum
What?
only
Yes.
13. Yeah.
26.
The answer, I asked you one question, guys, but you answered me the question that I didn't ask at all. The answer is this. No, the question is this. What's the sum returned when this code runs?
Yeah. 26.
Yes.
26. It's 26. How many times will this condition be true?
2 times.
Is it 13? No. Is it 13? Is it 13? Yes, so
Yes.
we add it to the sum. Is it 13? No. It means we are not adding it to the sum. Is it 13? Again, no. All right. So Do
Not.
we need to add this numbers when it is 13 or when it's not 13?
When it's not 13. So
So
we
how
do
do we represent this? Not
exclamation mark.
all
Yeah.
right. In this case, guys, it's still not the perfect solution. Let's
We should just keep this 13, yeah?
yeah. And what's the result after this program is executed?
6.
Yeah, 6.
It's 6. It's 6 because it's counting 2 as well. But should we count this 2?
Çare.
No, we should not count this 2. Do we need to use here chariot at some of this? No, there is no string.
Yeah,
So what we can do is this. When you find this 13, what's the... Let's first do this. It will be very detailed run of the for loop, guys. Very detailed. We created the sum. The sum is 0. Then we entered the for loop. Which one, guys, out of these 3 parts will be executed first?
I equal to 0.
I equal to 0. I is created. Okay. Next, which one will be executed? This one or this one? Second one or third one? Which one?
Second one.
Second one, yeah. And the condition is true. Will it run this? No, not yet. If it runs, then it skips the first element. It never runs this. It runs this update only after the statements are executed. So I0, if nums 0 is not equal to 13, do we need to add this number? Is it true? It's true. We are adding it to the sum. Now sum becomes 1. We increase the I. I becomes?
next element 2.
I
2.
becomes
2.
1
1.
plus 0.
Yeah.
It becomes 1.
0.
And then condition is checked. 1 is less than 6. Is it true?
Yes.
Is it true? Yeah, it's true. Next, it runs this again, this statement. Next, nums 1 is not equal to 13. Is it true? For
True.
nums 1, which element is there?
2.
It's 2. And then when this statement is executed, what's the sum? 3. All right. You should be patient for the next iteration. Update. When update is done, what's the value of I? 2. And then condition is
True.
true. So now I is equal to 2, right? Nums 2 is 13. 13 is not equal to 13. Is it true?
False.
13 is not equal to 13. So it means we are not running this, right? So we are right here, guys. What's the index? Index is 2. What if we do this? When it is 13, so nums 2 is not equal to 13. Is it true? False. So we can run here something. We are right here. If I do I plus plus, what will be the value of I when it's here? It will become, what's the value of I when we are checking element 13? 2. Nums 2 is not equal to 13. Is it true?
True.
False.
Oh, yeah.
Nums 2 is not equal to 13. It's false. Next, we run this I plus plus. So it makes 2, 3. Now I is 3. And then right after these statements are executed, it goes here. And then 3 becomes 4.
4.
It becomes 4. So which element is it?
1.
Element is 1. So let's try it. But as I told you guys, some of you were not patient. You were not paying attention. So that's why you just skipped it. You didn't understand it. So let me run it here. I think even now it's not perfect. Let's run it. Okay. It is. Sometimes it's not. All right. We could make this code even shorter, but yeah, I'll just keep this. Yeah. So it requires from you logic. Okay, if it's 13, it was required for you to understand how the for loop runs. First is the condition or update, and when the update is called, right after all statements are executed. Okay, I can send it to the Slack, guys, but we will not spend time copying it because we are losing our time. I sent it here. Okay. Next. Let's choose here, guys, 1. Can you pick any number from 1 to 15, Mahabatje? Or any other student? What? Okay, 0 max. All right, can you describe me this array? Return type array, what does it return? No, what does it return? It returns an array of elements, and it accepts, it returns a value. Value can be just one number or can be array. This one returns an array, and it accepts an array. So we take this array and we process it. After it's processed, we get this 5, 5, 3, 3. All right. Very good, guys. Here the test input is this one. We get this as a returned value. So let's read it. Return a version of the given array. Which array is given, guys? If it says given array, which array is it talking about?
It's first one.
Return a,
0, 5.
yeah. This one is given, or this one, yeah? This one is given. Where each 0 in the array is replaced by the largest odd value to the right of the 0 in the array. Okay. If there is no odd value to the right of the 0, leave the 0 as 0. Okay. So let's take a look at this. Here, what's the largest
Oh, it's 5.
odd value to the right of the 0 in the array? All right. Okay, because I'm curious if it's 0, 5, and then what if it's 7? That's what I'm curious about. Let's check the numbers that will be returned.
That's not all.
She will try to solve one. 0, 3, 0, 1, 1.
Okay. So here we've got our test inputs. We replace our task, our goal is to get rid of these zeros. Imagine we don't like zeros. If you see 0, then you get angry. Here we have 2 zeros. Goal is to replace these zeros. All right. And then here, the largest odd value to the right of the 0. If there is no odd value to the right of the 0, leave the 0 as a 0. Okay. All right. Here we have a 0. The odd number next to 0 is 5. So we need to assign to this 0 5. Then our task is this. While checking these elements, what should be used? Which control flow statement will we be using? Describe the method. What will be there in the method? I can easily describe.
For loop and then if conditions.
Let's give other people chance. So there will be a for loop and an if-else statements. So for loop runs and accesses it, and it will access each element. While it's accessing elements, what should we check?
For
Here.
zero,
The element is 0.
Yeah, the thing is this, we don't like zeros. So we need to check, is it 0 or not? We check it if it's 0 or not. If it is 0, then we do this. What's the number to the right of the 0?
5.
Next one is 5. Is 5 an odd number?
Yes.
Yeah. So we assign to this 0, 5. And it's not like very easy task, guys, as it seems like. Because look, here it's 0. Next to it we have 4. We didn't assign to here 4. The number assigned is 3. The number assigned to here is 3. Okay. We're gonna do this, guys. We're not gonna solve this one, because I'll need to explain you one more topic that's required for this one. There is a topic that we didn't cover yet. All right. Let's try this one. Return an array that contains the exact same numbers as the given array, but they are rearranged so that all zeros are grouped at the start of the array. The order of non-zero numbers doesn't matter. So 1, 0, 0, 1 becomes 0, 0, 1, 1. You may modify and return the given array or make a new array. All right.
Can you use sort method?
What method?
Sorting from
Maybe, yeah. But yeah, sort will just do it really quick. But what if we are not allowed to use here sort? Then
count, we should count zeros and one.
then we need. I would like to know if this what comes to my mind is this. All of the zeros should be grouped at the start of the array, somewhere on the left. Now, what's important is to figure out if all of the numbers are zeros and ones. If all of them are zeros and ones, it's easy to solve this one. Okay, not all of them are zeros and ones. Not all of them are zeros and ones, so not that easy. Okay. So we need to think, guys. If you use your array sort, it will be too easy. For this one, guys, you won't be able to solve it at this point right now. Or I'll not be able to explain it to you in like 20 minutes. There is something called nested loops, which we didn't cover yet. Yeah, it's called nested loops. All right, so let's try this one. We are given an array of ints. Return true if the value 3 appears in the array exactly 3 times, and no 3's are next to each other. And no 3's are next to each other. Okay, we should return true or false. That's it. Have 3. All right. How many 3's do we have in this first test input? Three of them. Yeah. When should we return true? If we have exactly 3 times of these 3's, and there shouldn't be 3's next to each other. How many 3's do we have in the second test input? 3, right? But one of these 3's are next to each other, which makes this to return false. Because here it says to return true if there are exactly 3 and no 3's are next to each other. So what are the main things we need to create in this method? You should be initiative. If you will like keep being quiet, you'll always be quiet. If you will throw some ideas, then you will stick to throwing some ideas, and
We should iterate. We should go over iterate each index and find 3. And if it finds 3, we should say we should give condition. For example, nums I is 3 and nums I plus 1. It should be also
yeah,
3.
we need
Something
to
like
track
that.
2 numbers at the same time.
Yeah.
And do we need to also count the number of 3's?
Yes.
We
Need to count.
There should be a counter. There should be a counter. Okay. What, guys, if the array's length is, let's say, less than 3? Should we return true? if the array we get has length 3? What should be returned?
It can be, right? 3, because 3, 1, 3.
Yeah.
Let's say.
If
No?
the array length is 3, then there could be only 3s in a row.
It should be false, yeah, I mean.
Yeah.
three.
What if we have 4 elements in the array?
False.
Again, false. Some
Ah,
of
yeah.
these
Oh,
3s could be next to each other. So only if we have
5.
5 elements and more, then it might be true. So at the beginning, we can do this so we don't lose our time, we save time. If num's length
Equal to.
is less than
um,
5, then we can immediately return false. Because we don't need to check them even. Because if it's less than 5, if it's 4 elements only, then there's no way that there are 3 3s with no next to each other. Okay. Next.
With for loops.
Yeah, there should be a for loop. Without loops, it's not possible solving this one. So if one of them is 3, then the next one shouldn't be 3. What if we have these numbers as a test input? Let's say it's 3, 3, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3. What should be returned? Yeah, false. Why do you know why false? Why should you return false? Can you explain it?
But
It
it's
should.
Because threes are appearing more than 3 times.
Yeah, it should appear only 3 times, the number 3. Okay, so we need to count those 3s. We need to count those 3s. As soon as we meet the 4th 3, we can return false. But before that point, we can keep counting them.
Here is num length.
Yeah, of course. Here it's
I
nums.
plus plus.
Okay.
If if I equal 13,
Did you check it? Let's check. If what do you say?
if I mean it's one element here. If I is equal 13,
If I equals 13. No, we need to, you can check it first in your own laptop because it's really what?
I didn't check it.
Yeah, it's really like confusing task. If some number is 3,
and maybe.
it should be
And, or you mean and.
let me think, guys. If some number is equal to 3,
What is just right on return I
if some number is equal to 3,
Can it be
Then-
nums I plus 2 is also should be equal to 3?
no, we shouldn't, let's check it in our own laptops and if it works, because if we will throw some random ideas, then we will spend like an hour, maybe more. The previous one was okay. What if this, guys? Let's say we have these numbers 3 and 3. Do we have a chance that we will return a true? No, we don't have chance, right? Already. If we have here fours, but one more 3, we already have 3s next to each other.
Yeah.
So it should return false. So that's why I created this. Previous was 3. Previous one was not 3. We increase the counter. And now the previous one was 3, should become true. At the time when we check the next element, it will make sense. If previous was if previous one was 3, then we can return false. So let me run it.
The return is red. Grammatically.
return should be out of this, yeah?
It's fine here. Then their count is 3. Three, 3, 1, 2. All right. 3, 3, 1, 2.
So 5 times 5.
Yeah, if
less than 5.
if we have 4 elements, we can automatically return false. Because where do we put the next 3? If it's 2, then here 3, and here 3. All right, but let me do this. There should be a good logic for this one. Then we need to pass this to have 3. All right, it's false. What if we have this?
It should be false.
How about this?
Not false. False, yeah?
How many 3s are there? There are exactly 3 3s. And-
It should be up, the next number should be 3.
Not necessarily, right?
So they shouldn't be this way. Maybe you understood wrong way. It shouldn't be this. It should be this way.
This
They
will be
shouldn't-
true.
Yeah, they should be not adjacent. All right. This should be true, but it returns false. Okay, here. Mm-hmm. Let's do this, guys. Let's run it with this. Why is it important to use this previous with 3? How many iterations will be for this for loop?
4.
0 iterations.
Why?
Do you believe 0 iterations? Let's call this method. We pass this array. How many elements are there in this array?
4, which is less
4.
than 5.
We reach this condition. 4 is less than 5. Is it true?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we return false immediately.
What if just delete this, I mean, the more than 5?
No, if you delete it, then why will you check these elements?
Yeah, it's necessary.
Let's say we do this. It will always be false because there is no combination to make these trees not adjacent to each other. There is no combination. That's why if the length is 4, 3, 2, 1, or 0, then return false. Only if it's at least 5, there could be a combination like this. Only when it's at least 5, the length. Only if the length is at least 5, we can go and check this here. Now, how many times this for loop might run? This for loop. Easier than easier. How many elements are there, guys?
5 times.
So this for loop might run 5 times. All right. Assume it's very first iteration. In the very first iteration, what's the value of I?
3.
For you, it's better, guys, now to pay attention, not to write it down.
Who's 3?
In the very first iteration, I will be
3.
0.
Oh, 0.
I will be 0. And then nums I will be 3, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then we check if previous was 3. Do we have before this first element another number before? No, so that's why we have created this previous was 3 to be false at the beginning. Is it true or not? Previous was 3.
We don't have any number on previous.
Is it true or not?
It's
Previous was 3 is false, guys. So again, nums I, nums 0. Is it 3? It's 3. Next, do we have before this 3 any number? No, it's represented by this variable. Previous was 3. In the beginning, there is no previous 3. So previous 3, is it true or false? Here's the value.
False.
It's false at the beginning. If it would be 3, then we could return false, because if we have 2 3s next to each other, then we can immediately return false. But it's not. Is it true or false, this one? False.
This is
So
false.
we don't run this. Next, we increase count. Do you know why do we increase count?
Yes, to count how many 3s in the array.
Yeah, because it was 3. It was 3. That's why we counted. Count plus plus. Now count becomes what?
1.
1.
1. Let's say we are right here right now, but let's say we moved for a moment to the next element. If we are at the next element, which is 5, is it true that previous one is 3?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So we do this. Previous was 3, we make it true.
Mm-hmm.
So that when we check the next element, we know that the previous one was 3, maybe. So we make the previous was 3 equal to true. And then will it run this else, guys? No, because if was executed, yeah? Next, we update the I becomes what number?
1.
1, yeah. Now, nums, guys, I is 5. 5 equals to 3. Is it true? False.
False.
We don't enter it here. So we make the previous was 3 equal to false. Why? Because when you move to this 3, the previous one, was it 3 or not? Before this one.
No, it was 5.
Why? That's why we make it false. Previous one is false because now it's not 3. Next, I is updated. It becomes
2. I2.
It becomes 2. Nums 2. Is it equal to 3?
Yes.
Yes. How about previous was 3? Is it true or not? It's false.
False.
Yeah. That's why we don't run this. We increase counter by 1.
1.
Now counter becomes
2.
2 because we made it 1 here. Then do you have some idea why we make it previous was 3 true? Because right now we are checking a number and it's 3. So it will be helpful when you are checking the next element. If the next element is 3, it will stop the program right there. Imagine if we had this case. At the beginning, I is equal to 0 and its first element is 3. 3 equals to 3. Is it true? Yeah.
Yes.
Previous was 3. Is it true or false?
False.
False.
False. There is no element before this first 3. Count plus plus. As long as it's 3, we are increasing it. So count
One.
becomes
1.
1. Perfect. And then we make previous was 3 equal to true because the current element is 3. Next, I becomes 1. Nums 1. Which element is it?
3.
3 again. Okay. Right now we are gonna catch something. So it's 3 again. Let's check. Previous was 3. Is it true or not?
True.
It's true. So we can return false. We
False.
can stop it. Because if you have even this case here, now we have already 4 3s. That's why when you meet at least 1 3 next to other 3, you can break it there. Here, this is how we broke it. We stopped the for loop. So okay. So array 2 problems, they might be some of them might be middle level, some of them might be difficult level, but warm up 2, they all you should be able to solve. All right, let's just take a look at this one. Given an array of ints, we are given for some elements. Return true if one of the first 4 elements in the array is 9. When should we return true?
One of the first elements is 9.
Not one of the first. One of the first 4. One of the first 4. So if here we have 9, return true. Do we have here in this first 4 elements 9?
No.
No. So we are not gonna return true. Do we have here in this first 4 elements 9?
No.
No.
No. So true is not returned. So this warm-up 2 numbers are okay. You should be able to solve them. So for today, guys, we have a new topic called classes and objects. But before we start this one, guys, let's have a break for 15 minutes.
Solution of Rust.
This one, I think I can do this. All right, it's better, guys, to have a break when it's break, because later when it's class, you'll need to go to toilet or something else. That's why when it's break.
У вас есть инструменты, грубо говоря, у вас есть инструменты, те казы вы умеете копать, да, у вас как бы инструменты, как лопатка, кирка, дендер бар, да? А везде только штыковый лопатка бар, что не лазит. А кирка, сдерка бар, знания ушли.
Первые 2 недели а потом я чисто логически, чуть-чуть логически понимаю. Вот сейчас я понимаю смысл. То есть это
Ладно, логика. Вот это сейчас он не показал, вы его решили, чтобы не решили. Правильно? Сколько сейчас? 3, 4,
половина ли çıkmadı, половина не решилась. Вот смотри, это у меня только половина решилась, половина нет, где-то остановилась.
Да.
Но это можно решить при желании, если у нас копать да?
Ну,
Я знаю, мне нужно или алкоголь, собственно,
это нормальное понятие.
не нравится, я не знаю. Нам если под триггер.
Вот.
Надо точнее, человек господа, надо. Нам все очень надо. Income, ладно, нам это понятно, нам base plus еще
Bunu 3 bulsa count koyardı orada, no. Uçak должно. I
И
plus 1
условия.
demek ne var? I plus 1 demek düşünüyorsun mu?
I plus 1 then будет next element.
O next element. Bunu
Tamam, aldık da.
Yok. Нам I plus 1 equal 3 bulsa return false. То есть не считай уже. Дальше можешь не считать то так.
Если либо бунда.
Ну, это kaç yol takip bu ne такого çok правило
Burak doğanın net de şu jogun. Al. Sağlamlar bir şey
Yok, bu ушон течти, да, это его способ решения. Ну, чуть-чуть. Попробуй, да, еще другой вариант. Он тебе еще другой вариант. Вот напиши прям, напиши. Given as a solution de İcabı diyorsan, İcabı diyorsan, hemen farkında bir foto. Just for, önce dasta. Başka bir variant. Tabii variant var.
da misal için bir olay kısmını falan.
Он
Bana. If Last was three должен в каком чарном чарном. True, false. Last was three. А у него это был pre was three. Просто все. Last was. То же самое, Виктор. Это уже другой сложный вектор.
Okay. All right, guys. Online students, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. So for today, guys, our new class topic is Intro to Classes and Objects. So today we're gonna understand, guys, what's a Java class, what's an object, and what are the properties. How many classes do you know so far? If we do not count the classes that we created already ourselves. So how many classes do you know so far if we do not count the ones that we create ourselves? Main class? No. I don't feel it. So how many classes do you know? Do you know 0 classes or what? No, not you. I think it's somebody else should be. That's really disappointing, guys. Like, what are you doing this all days? Do you know scanner class? Have you ever heard this class before?
Scanner class, method
It's a class.
class,
Have you ever heard random class?
random class, yeah. Scanner
Yeah.
class.
And have you ever heard any other class that we passed? Other than this, I think these are the two only. All right. Have you ever tried creating a class?
Scanner class,
Yeah. Have you ever tried creating a class?
yeah, we then
Yeah.
get scanner, new scanner,
No.
the class.
When I ask you, create a class called task 1, you create a class. When you write scanner, new scanner, you don't create a class. You create an object. When you create task 1, task 2, task 3, these are the classes. Today we're going to learn what's a Java class, what's an object, properties, and there's something more called behaviors. Okay, have you ever heard object-oriented programming?
Yes, it's a Java.
Java is an object-oriented programming. Do you have any idea maybe why is it called object-oriented programming? It's okay if you don't have idea, guys. So the thing is this. Is it true that whatever we see with eyes in this real world, we can call an object? Yeah?
Yes.
Can we call our laptop an object?
Yes.
Can we call room an object? Yeah, for us it's not an object, but if there was somebody like bigger than us, it could be for him an object. Yeah. What can you say an object? What do you think an object is? What can be recognized as an object? What can be identified as an object?
Something we can see and touch.
Yeah, something that we can see and touch can be called an object. Object-oriented programming. It's like creating models of real-world things in programming. I can create a model of my smartphone in Java. I can create it in the IntelliJ IDEA. I can create this room, an object of this room. What will be properties of this room? The properties of this room probably will be this
Size.
room has one TV, it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, and then number of seats, the number of lights here, the number of windows. These all are the properties of this class or an object. These are the properties. What does these properties do? These properties, they describe something. For example, if it's a smartphone, what could be some of the properties of this smartphone? What? It could be its size, yeah? Screen size. It could be the number of its size, RAM memory. It could be the camera, right? So these are the properties. Properties describe our objects. What are the methods? Methods or behaviors. For example, you guys can see me and touch me. I can do the same with you. So we can be also represented as objects in Java. What are the properties of all people? What are the properties that all people have? Hands, this stuff, and these are properties. When it comes to behaviors, it's some things that we can do. It's actions. I can speak, you can speak, we can eat, you can eat, you can run. These are the behaviors. All right. So let's say a car. What are the behaviors of a car? Behavior. Start driving, stop, start,
Speeding.
speeding. Yeah, open the windows. Any action can be called a behavior. A behavior. Behavior can be done on a car, or behavior can be done like by that car. In terms of car, it doesn't work because car cannot do itself things. So methods and behaviors are actions that can be done by that object. Attributes and properties, these are the characteristics that describe an object.
Can you understand methods like function?
Yeah, methods are functions. Let me put this picture. It was here. All right. What's a class? A class is a blueprint or template. For example, do you agree that scanner class was predefined? It was created before we started using this Java programming language. So what do you think? How many times scanner class was created? Scanner class, not object.
One.
Only once. It was created by developers only once. And we can reuse that class when you create an object. Is it true that we create scanner class, or scanner class is created only once, but we can create multiple objects, a lot of objects using that one class? So class is a blueprint or template. We can use class to create objects. There is a random class. We can use random class to create an object of random. Class, what class can have? It can have properties. For example, model and year. These are the properties that each car has. Each car. And methods. There are some methods, functions that can be done with that object. For example, we can start, open, like roll down the windows, roll them up, maybe start fueling. These are the functions, actions. All right. So what do you think? Which one is more important, class or object?
Class. Class.
Plus,
We cannot compare them. Class is bigger. Yeah, object is created. It depends from the class. Yeah, but it's not something that we can compare. Okay,
Create the object without something.
we cannot create object without, yeah. So there should be some model that we rely on when you create an object. So a car, this is a car class. Here we have, these are, how do we call, guys? Do you remember? How do we call variables that are created outside of the main? Do you remember? How do we call them?
Local variables or
Local.
No, they are instance.
instance variables.
Instance. The ones inside the main, they are local. Okay, here we have two properties, model and year. And these are the behaviors or functions or methods, actions that can be done with this car. We can start the car, we can stop the car, and we can open the trunk. This is just to explain. It doesn't mean that every time inside those methods should be system out print line. It doesn't mean it. It's just to show you that if this method or action is called or done, then the car starts. This is just for an explanation. Next. Question, guys. What real-life examples can you think of similar to this car? Yeah. Car is a class. Do you have any other example that could be as same as car class? Fruits? Fruit. Fruit is something general. It can be, for example, apple. Apple is apple and banana. They have different structure. So it should be something that can be applied to all. If we take fruits, there are different fruits, right? You cannot use the same model for all fruits. So it should be something like a model or blueprint that you can use to create other. You cannot say fruits and create from it banana, apple. It should
How
be
about
something
the model for the uniforms? We use like
model uniforms.
when you create the uniforms for the school, let's say, we'll use the same template, like the same.
Yeah, it could be also. It should be something that will be similar for a lot of objects. For example, TV. TV will have its size. TV will have some inputs, buttons to start it and stop. TV will have some sensor, maybe some memory, I don't know. But a class, it's a blueprint. Can we have a blueprint, a class like house? What do you think? Because many houses might have the similar structure.
Yes. Houses will be objects, right? Houses.
House is a class, and we can create an object of this class. So let me get here. Yeah, objects, it's like houses. So this house is a class, and we can create its objects. Objects are like its copies. Its copies. We can create this blueprint, and we will use this blueprint to build or construct all of these houses, to create a lot of copies. So look, house one. We are reusing the blueprint that's created only once, right here. This is the class house. It has color, number of rooms, address. Maybe there could be more properties, like number of bathrooms. And then we are reusing this template, this house plan, to create other houses where the design is similar, like pretty same. So house 1, house 2, house 3, house 4. Is it true that all of these houses will have these properties, like number of rooms, color, address? all of these houses from house 1 to house 6, all of them will have address, number of rooms, and color. But these properties like number of rooms, address, color could be different. Address for this one is different. For this one is different. But they hold same properties, all of them. All of them hold same properties. All right, can you give other example for this? Like similar example that could fit this one.
For example, laptop.
Laptop, yeah, there could be some laptop plan, and that laptop plan can be used to create other
another-
laptop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Apple has their own plan how to create MacBook Pro or Air MacBooks. And then they just use the same plan to create MacBook which has only 8 gigabytes of RAM, 16 of RAM. They just reuse the same thing. The same with scanner. Can I create inside the main method 5 scanner objects?
Yes.
What do you think? Can we? Offline students.
No.
We can create as many as you want. Can you create like, this is just like, can you create here 5 int variables? Yes, we can, yeah. So the same, for example, can you create here 5 strings? String A, string B, string
Yes.
A. Yeah, it should be a string. Hi. Is it true that string is a class? Not a primitive variable, data type. It's a class. It's a class. So how about scanner? Is scanner a class? Yes, so we can create the same as we did with strings. We can create 2 or more scanners. How do we call this A and B?
Variable name.
If we'll be really, it's not property. These are called objects, object names. Count is a variable name. But A and B, these are objects. How can we identify that count is an object, not object, and A and B are objects?
String non-primitive and primitive data type.
Yeah. This string is non-primitive data type. And then int is primitive one. Scanner. Scanner, scanner, new scanner. Is it an object?
Yes.
Is it an object?
Yes.
It's an object, guys. Okay, we move. So
It becomes
let's
gray,
write-
right? If it's object or no?
becomes what?
Gray. Color is gray.
It becomes for all of them gray. For count, it's not gray because count was used here. If we create here int number 0, it's gray because it's not used. But if we use it, okay, here it says, but never accessed. Okay, maybe if it's reused somewhere here. It's gray because it was not used. The main thing is this. It's not about that it's primitive or non-primitive. The gray means variable never used. All right. So let's right here describe this class and object. Which one is greater? Which one is bigger, class or object?
Class.
Yeah. Which one is dependent?
Object.
Object depends from class. How can we describe a class?
It's a blueprint to create
Yeah,
something.
it's a blueprint to create what?
Object.
Objects. Yeah, it's a blueprint to create objects. How about an object? How can we describe an object?
Something that have same properties. Or
It's an instances of classes
mm,
or copies of classes. What can we create inside the class and how do we call them? Something that you can do and something that describes. How do we call them?
Properties.
It's properties and
methods.
behaviors,
Behavior.
or they can be called as fields also and methods. You can use these names, fields or properties and methods and behavior. Okay. Properties, what do they do? What do they mean, Clara J? Properties and fields. What do they mean, Ulan Bayke? These properties.
Properties.
Yeah. They describe them, right? They describe the class. The class or objects. They give us characteristics about objects. All right, how about methods? Actions or functions that can be done by object. Yes. Object is an instance of a class or copies of a class. All right. Look, if you create inside the house string color, number of rooms, string address, now inside house 1, we have number of rooms, we have color, we have address. So all of these objects will have methods and fields. Methods and fields. Okay, let's do this. We're gonna create here inside the day 40 a class called car. A car class. And then inside this car class, we are gonna create 2 variables. It's int year and string model. Int year and string model. Okay. Then we create here a main method. A main method should be created here. Next. What are the properties of this car class? Model and year. These are the properties. Does it have functions or methods?
No.
No. There are no methods of this car class. Yeah, we do this, guys. So we have now a car class. What is a class? Claraja, what's a class? Class is a blueprint to create objects. We can use this car, which begins with uppercase C, to create an object. Car, new car. Now we've created an object of our class. Can we call string a class?
No.
Is it a class? This string, like logically, or what do you think? String.
It's blue, yes.
Car begins with an uppercase. It can be called a class. String begins with uppercase. It can be called a class. Int begins with lowercase. Can we call this int a class? No. String is a class. Did we create this class? Did we create class car? Yes. Did we create string class?
Yes.
No.
Model.
It was created before. It was created before for us. It's predefined class. Okay. Next. Create here two cars, guys. Car 2 and car 1. Okay. So now car 1 object and car 2 objects, both of them have inside it model and year. Let's do this. System out print line. Car 1 has model property and it has year property. The same has the second car. What do you think? If I run this program, will it display as Toyota and Mercedes? How about Toyota and BMW? Why?
We didn't assign.
Yeah, we never used here a word like T even, a letter. So there is no Toyota. Here what we have is null, 0, null, 0. Okay. So why is it null for model and 0 for year? Why it's not 0, 0?
Because it's string. For default is null, and for year it's integer. It's always 0 by default.
For integers, default value is 0. For objects, this, is it an object model? Yes, it's an object. String, is it a class? Can we call string a type?
Class.
Can we call this int a type? Can we call it a data type? Yeah. How about this
Yes.
string? Can we call it a type? Can we call data type? Can we call non-primitive data type? No. Oh, yeah, sorry. It's not primitive data type. It's type. This one is object or object name. So for objects, always the default value is null. So let's go back to the presentation. This is how we can assign values. So once an object is created, you can, guys, assign values to its properties. So our properties, model and year. Properties and behaviors of objects are accessed by a dot after the object name. Object name, property, this one. Object name dot property value. Let's do this. Let's assign to car1 properties like Toyota. And year is 2014. So how do we assign values to its properties, to object properties? How do we assign, guys, values to object properties? We can be quiet like for 3 minutes if you don't answer. How the
Object.
question is, how can we assign values to object properties?
Object and equal
Object dot and property. This is how you assign object dot property equal and then value. So we can access them by a dot after the object name, and we can at the same time assign values. All right, so if we run the program now, what will be displayed here?
Toyota 2040
Null and zero.
Toyota 2014, null and zero. Why it displays here null and zero?
we didn't sign
Yeah, values for car 2 are not assigned. Let's assign here Ford. Year is 2020. Okay, if we run it now, it displays us Toyota,
year.
year, Ford, and 2020. All right. What if I remove these two guys? No need to remove. You shouldn't remove it, guys. I'll do it myself. I remove it, and if I run it, it displays default values, yeah? In one word, it displays us default values. All right. Look, I can do this. I can assign here Toyota and here 2014. And what do you think? How many times will we see here Toyota? Twice. Toyota 2014 and Toyota 2014. Because we assigned default values here. We said here all car objects will have model Toyota and 2014 when they are created. We can reassign a new value. Let me do this. If I run this program now, what will be in the output?
It will 14, yeah, 2014 and 2000.
What will it be?
2 times 4 and 2014.
No,
2 times.
1 times 4, but
Let's
here-
run it. For 2014, Toyota 2014. So
Second one is Toyota is signed.
yeah, second one is never changed. If it's never changed, it just use this values assigned here. But here we assigned a new value to model. If I remove this line, what will be displayed now?
So it's a Toyota, Bitcoin and Toyota Bitcoin.
Yeah, because we assigned here default values. Yeah, for all cars, what do you think? If I create here 4 more cars, will they all be Toyota 2014?
Yes.
Yeah, so this is a default value. Okay. So how can we assign a value to objects properties, guys?
We can
Object-
assign outside of the main method or inside the main method individually.
Oh, yes. Yeah, exactly. We can do it somewhere here or here by object name and dot with property name. This is how you can assign values. Now, how to access those object properties? Again, it's by dot after the object name. All right. Did we already access the properties, guys? Did we already access the
yes.
property of our cars? Yeah, we already accessed them. We already displayed them. So this is how we access them. So accessing also done by object name dot, yeah, object dot and property, right? This is how you can access. This is how you can assign. All right. Next, guys. For you, quick practice task. You need to create class called phone with properties brand and price. With properties brand and price, create a main method inside it. Then you need to create one phone object. You need to assign it values. It could be Apple and $1,000. It could be other brand. And then you need to display those values.
Brand and what?
Price. It should be brand and price properties.
Brand and price.
Yeah. Can you open? This is because you should create the class name with uppercase character.
Yeah.
It will be only one object, right? Of phone.
Yeah. Yeah, only one object should be created. All right, guys, you have 1 more minute. Okay. So I think you have done this one. Should be a phone class with brand and price. And then main method you created. Next, phone, new phone.
Mm.
Next is, what is next? Assignment of values. Phone price. All right, this is it about declaration and assignment. Next is displaying it, yeah? Phone dot brand and phone dot price. All right, yeah. I think you have also done this one, yeah, successfully. Next is this, guys. How do we compare objects? We have two cars, car 1, car 2. They both have different models. One of them is Honda, the other one is Toyota. Honda and Toyota. Are these two cars the same, guys? If we use this model as a property to compare? No, not same. So car 1, we access model and we use equals car 2 dot model. System out print line, same model. So what will be displayed?
Different model.
Different model. Okay. I hope you know and remember that if we have here two strings, string 1, laptop, and then string 2, laptop. How do we compare these two strings?
Equal method equal.
Using equals method. We don't use this one. This equal is mostly used for
Integer.
primitive types. For primitives. Yeah, we use here equals method. Equals str2. So what do you think? Is it true or false?
True.
Yeah, it's true. So here, car 1 dot model. What's the value here behind this car 1 model? Honda. Is it a string? Yes. Honda string equals Toyota string. They're not the same. So it will display us different model. Okay. Here, inside the car class, right after this two, you can comment them. You can comment this. And then copy here this code. How we use this equals method. If and else. Is it true that here we compare objects by their behaviors? Yeah.
No, by their property.
By their properties. Yes. All right. So if I run it, it displays us different model because the models are different. Okay. So now you know that you can compare objects by their properties and you can use it with if-else statements. Next page, next slide is this. We can store these objects in arrays. We can store objects in arrays. First, array should be created with the right data type. So here, example number 1. Usually, you used here string or int data types, but now we are creating an array of, how can we call it? Array of what? Array of car objects.
Cars.
Array of cars. So here we have an array of cars, and there we can store 2 cars only. So there are 2 ways, guys. We can do this. Cars, what are the, let's say, elements inside this array right now? What are the values? No,
Oh, car, the string.
it's null. We have 2 nulls. And now we are assigning to the first element a new car. And to that new car, we assign properties. Model is Ford, year is 2015. The same we do with the second element. Now, second element is initialized. It's no more null. Now it has an object there. Then we assign values to its properties. All right. Then we have second way, guys. Here we still creating array of cars with 2 elements inside it, then we are creating one car object, car, new car, with values. We assigned values. Then we are creating the second. All right, at this line, guys, what's the elements inside the cars array? What are the values inside this cars array?
Car 1 and car 2.
No,
No. Ford Tesla?
it's null and null.
Oh,
It's null and null. Have we done this? Cars, square brackets, 0. Have we done this? No.
no.
So we have car 1 and car 2 objects, but they are not inside the array. Okay, and then we assign them to array. First element of the array will point to car 1. Second element of the array points to car 2. And if we display the car's length, what's the length?
2.
It's 2. So let's do this. Let's create here array objects 1. Array objects 1. Here inside this array objects 1, create this code, this one first. Have you done, guys? Next, let's create another class, array object 2, and we're gonna copy the other way. To array objects 2, we copy this one. All right. Right, let me know, guys, once you have done.
Yeah, done.
All right, so if I do this, guys, cars, comment these lines, and if I run this code, what will it display, guys?
Array of cars.
So it will display us the
Zero,
address.
zero.
Displays the address. And if we would like to see what's inside the array, arrays to string should be used. Now, if we run it, it should display the elements inside it. Do we have elements inside this array? No. So there are two nulls, null and null. And look, if I do this, what this line does, guys?
We assigned the 14 first element.
We assign not fourth to first element. We assign, like you are almost right, but we assign fourth to the model property, right? If what you said is this, we are assigning fourth to the model of the first object or first element. But look, there are two nulls. Important point. If I run it, it displays me this. I cannot assign field to field model because cars 0 is null. It's null. We never created there an object. But if we do this, first we put there an object and then we assign to that object a value. Look, it will look like this after these two lines. First, we didn't have their objects. This one. We had there only null and null. Then what did we do here? We created a car object right here. Car object is created. If I remove this initialization, then it shows this error. It says there is no car in the first element. There is no car. So car should be created and assigned to the first element. If I run this code, what will happen? Take your time, 10-15 seconds, and then let me know what will happen if I run this code.
It will be the same, but instead of 0, there will be 1, right? Cars 1 is now.
Yeah. So now if I run it, this part will be successful. It will be successfully executed because we assign to the first element a new object. So there is an object. It's not empty. It's not null. There is an object and we can access it. We can assign their value. But second object is null. There is no second object or second element. So you should just understand the basic idea of this and this. If I do this, what's the value for the second element, Claraja? If I comment it and uncomment it. Now, is it null or not? It's null. If I uncomment it, it's not null. Yeah. So here it's version 2. We need to create that object and assign it there. We have this version as well. This. Here what we do is we create an object. with an object name. We create one more object with an object name. Then we assign to this. If I do this, system out print line, cars, what will be displayed? Arrays to string. Will it be null or
Null,
something
yeah.
else?
Null.
What do you think? Okay. It's not something else, it's null and null. At this point, we never assign to these elements something. So they are still null. Only when we assign to those elements some objects, then there are values. There are objects. These are their addresses. Only after these two. What do you think? Is it an object? Yeah? Yeah, it's an object. And what do you think? Are these two objects empty or not, guys? Are there values inside these objects? Yeah, they are values because we created them before, assigned everything, and we put ready objects. How about this one? Here. If I do this, for example, if I run this one, are these two car objects empty? They are empty. I mean, there are no properties inside them. But elements are not empty because we see some addresses. At this point here, elements are empty. There are no objects because we assigned those objects only here. At this point, there are no objects. It's null and null. Okay, if I run this now, will it display as null and null or objects, object addresses?
Object addresses.
Object addresses are displayed. And at this time, are these objects empty? I mean, their properties.
Properties.
Now they have properties for 2015 and Tesla 2019. They have properties. Okay. If I do this, what will be displayed? Null, or object and null, or null and object.
Object and null.
Mm,
Yeah, there's an object and then null because
mhm.
this point we haven't assigned to second element an object. Okay, notice this very small difference, guys. Here we assign empty object to an element. What we do here, we assign to that element a ready object. Ready. Everything is assigned to this car one. Here, what we do, we assign to element empty object. Empty. Here, what we assign is a ready object with all properties set. All right. What can we do with arrays, guys? What do we do usually with arrays? There is something in that we do always with arrays. If you see arrays, then there is one more thing, another flow statement, control flow statement. Array.
We can access.
Yeah. What we can do is, what if there are now two elements, guys? It's pretty easy. if I do this, cars 0, let's do this, guys. Cars, let's do it together inside the array objects 2. Cars 0 dot model. Let's be a little bit quicker, guys. We have 11 minutes. Then system on print line, cars 1 model, and then cars 2 model. Cars 2 year, sorry.
4 years and Tesla year.
Yeah. Before we had similar thing, but it was separate objects, right? Separate object. It's one object and then another object. Here we have 2 objects inside an array. If I run this, what will be displayed?
4 2015 and Tesla 2019.
For 2015 and Tesla 2019. All right, yeah. What if, guys, inside this array we had 500 cars? Would it be still doable writing 500 times this? Or there is another way
Yeah, another way.
called
We need to
Loops.
a for. Yeah, it's a for loop. We can do this using a for loop. If there are 500 elements, then there would be, yeah, there would be 200 lines. So let's do it using a for loop. Using a for loop for array objects 1. So this example will be this way without a for loop. Here, how many objects do we have inside this cars 2 array? Inside this array? 2. Do we have nulls or objects?
They have objects.
We have objects with properties. Okay, let's do this. For till cars length, and then we can do this. System out print line cars I model and cars I year, and it will run this thing 2 times, but with different indexes. Okay, write it down. All right, have you done, guys? If you have done, let me know, because there are
Done.
other stuff to learn. Okay, this is how we can use arrays and objects together. All right. Next, filling object properties with scanner. We can use the scanner class to fill object properties. I don't think it's something difficult for you. Here, we could write the row value like my car.model and then double quotes Toyota. But what we can do here is we can use scanner and we can read the value from console. All right. Does this one, guys, look for you like something really new and confusing? Assigned to this. value from console. And then one more time. Yeah, this is how we can fill object properties with scanner. Next one is object behaviors. Let's do this. Create a class called object behaviors. Object behaviors. So this is another example for behaviors of objects. Okay, let me check. Okay. All right. Let's. Okay, I think we don't even need this class. Let's go to car class, guys. Car class. All right. If you guys hover your mouse here, do you see this? Like a minimize button. If you click it, your method minimize and you don't see other stuff. What's inside it? Let's do this. We're gonna create here behaviors of a car class. Behaviors. But let me explain. Yeah, first, let's create these three behaviors: start car, stop car, and open trunk inside the car class.
Not new class, right?
Yeah, inside the car class.
After system out, or, I
It
mean,
will be inside of main.
yeah,
No,
inside of the main or
no, outside. That's why I told you to minimize it.
Yeah. So after the main method, right?
Okay.
Here, right here, after the properties. Let me do it myself as well.
We need to delete this public stuff void mainstream state, right?
No, just create under this properties, these three methods: start car, stop car, and open trunk. All right. Have you done, guys?
Yes.
Red line.
Probably you made an error while creating them. You found it? The thing is this semicolons, right? You see here, you open, but never close here. All right, next method we are gonna create is this method. This one, display car info. Yeah, on top of start car. All right. Public void display car info. System out print line model. System out print line year. Okay. So how many behaviors does this car class have? 1, 2, 3, 4. We can call them behaviors because all of them are methods. Okay, so can we access this model and year properties inside this methods? Yeah. Can we access this model and year inside these methods?
Yes, we can.
Yeah,
But we
because
didn't time. Maybe.
yeah. Yes, we can because here I showed you. We can call it here. We can access them here. Here. All right, but we don't need to. So we have display car info. It's a behavior. It's a behavior. Next, we created here a for loop. Model is a property of each car. And then we have, guys, what? Methods. Look, start car, we can call stop car, open trunk. It's a method. We can call them. Open trunk. Is it the return type method or a void type method? Void type. It cannot be called inside the system out print line. Now, let's call this method cars I. Do the same, cars I, and here display car info. Display car info, is it a returning type method?
It's a void.
Yeah, it's a void type method. And what does it do? So at this point inside the for loop, is it true that we have there two objects with properties?
Yes.
Yeah, there are two objects, Ford 2015 and Tesla 2019. So these objects, they have values inside them. And when you do this, cars 0 display car info, what it does is it calls this method and displays the model. So it's better to see it once here. Ford 2015, Tesla 2019. Let's run them this way also. So I equals to 1, we are accessing the first car. The first car. And the first car has model Ford, year 2015. So we call this method display car info. For which element are we calling this method? For which element?
For all, like
Yeah. It's for all, but at this moment, it's for the first element. So first element dot display car info goes to here and then displays the model of the first element, which is Ford. And then year. And then it goes back to for loop. Now I becomes 1, which means second element. And for second element, it calls this method, display car info. And it displays the Tesla because the model of the second element is Tesla. And then the year of the second element. And then the for loop is done. So what do you think? Can I call inside the stop car? Can I access here year and model inside the
yes.
stop car? All right. How do you know? Because I showed you that we can call this model and year in methods. Okay, so you'll have practice tasks, not practice tasks. In your assignments, you'll be given this to create a laptop class. 2 of them are easy. This one also. And then one more. This one. Inside the main method, create one smartphone object. All of them are pretty easy. So if you have phone, and it has, let's say, a method called charge. If you call on phone charge 1 time, its percentage should go up for 10%. If you call it 3 times, then it should go up for 30%. So if you call it 3 times, it should show you at the end 30%. So these are your tasks, guys. So these are the classes and objects. Tomorrow you'll be having practices on these classes and objects. And time is flying, guys. The best time to practice them, to learn maybe something that you forget, maybe to brush up, it's not tomorrow. It's, of course, not today because it's late, but there's a phrase like it's now, not tomorrow. Okay. If you have questions, you can go ahead, guys. Otherwise, it's time to finish the class.
About if we
Yeah.
show for us, and I understand that it's all behaviors created inside of our class is can be,
Can you repeat your question?
you said that
Uh-huh.
model in here can be put inside of another behaviors, like start car, can we use inside of these behaviors, you said, yeah? How we can understand if we didn't see, like,
Because I
if
showed
we-
you here.
Because you show,
Uh-huh.
if in other task, it's, will not show,
Uh-huh.
we can understand that inside of car classes created of behaviors,
Mhm.
meaning it's have access to.
Okay, I get you. So look, I showed you that you can access. So like logically from now on, you should know that you can access these properties in these behaviors. Like it should be possible to access it here because I showed that it's possible. So now you will know that even if it's a phone, if we create here something like public void charge, we can access them. Okay, any other questions? If you have, go ahead, guys.
So in the assignment, we will do the same thing, like display car info, we'll connect them, right?
Yeah, it won't be something. So it will be something that you learned from today. It could be create an array and then call display.
But we will do it in the one class or different classes?
Mhm. this will be also explained. Like it will be
Okay.
probably phone. If it's phone task, then main method will be created inside the phone.
Mhm.
Okay, but for this one, most probably you will need to do this. So, for example, for the home assignments, you will create the package like home assignment 1, or it's day 1, whatever. But let's say it's day 40, then you create some home assignment package day 40. Yeah, better you do it in your home assignments project. Here, day 40, ideally should be there. And then here you create, if it's one task about phones, then create here a class called phone. And then there could be another task related to, let's say, employees task. Then you create some other class employee. But then when you will submit your assignment, you should compress the package so that 2 or 3 classes will be inside it. You will compress not the class, the package, to include all classes. I think it's logical,
Yeah, okay.
right?
One question,
Mhm.
we use the car part, just public void without the static.
Mm-hmm.
Then to use the static, or we can use without the static.
So here, static shouldn't be used. Static.
When we use when we
So we used here static. For example, this main What do you think? Is this something logical? Like it's the behavior of main logically? Okay, it could be, it could not, but we did this static just to be able to call it here, like 5 and 6. I didn't want for you to create something confusing, but if we wouldn't create this static, then we would need to create this main, new main, which will lead you to confusing stuff. And then you would need to do this. We didn't learn this yet, right? Creating objects 2 days ago. That's why I didn't show you this, and it's not a good idea to do this because then you have 2 lines. Better if you do this static and then find some. Yeah, this is just to call it with its name without doing something like this. Yeah, but later we're gonna learn the objective of static. What does static mean? So for behaviors, we never create make them static. Never. Behavior, it's action that can be done by object.
And they
As
created before main method, right? The behaviors. That's why it's like
Once again,
excuse me.
all right. Okay.
So
I have
public void is created before main method, right?
public void. Oh, by the way, you mean this the order. The order can be different.
Ah,
Like it can be even this way. In this case, order doesn't matter. Like now, main method comes first. You see?
yeah.
Okay, I think I really guys have right now a headache. Yeah. Like it's not because of you, it's because of the day.
upload is video record.
From what?
Video.
It will be in, like 2 hours ready. I will send you better a link to watch it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
All
thank
right,
you.
one students. Yep. See you.